I wonder what's up on the internet today. What's this? Interesting. Another Unite. Them, those people are putting a lot of work in their engine. Cinecast. Didn't we just get something for cameras? FPS sample. Oh, I've seen this before. Another visual graph for artists. Okay. Don't they have enough already? Oh, looks good though. More ECS stuff that isn't ready yet. Real-time multiplayer. Huh. Are they improving on multiplayer? UNet does not meet the needs of many multiplayer game creator. Both high-level and low-level API will be deprecated. The LLAPI will no longer be shipped after 2018.4. To be honest, not much. Hey, I am your host Michael from N3K. Today we're going to be using this microphone because my other one died. Can we please have some Fs in the comment dumpster? So UNet is going through their third iteration really soon. In fact, we can already grab the new code and test it out. It's on their GitHub. It's of course not the best time to use it, but it's out there. So I was about to say that UNet is getting deprecated, but what's going to happen is that we're just going to call the new version UNet. That's what we did the first time. That's probably what we did the second time as well. They like to call it network transport, which is quite close to low-level API. You know, like when you code in low-level API, you use the network transport class. So, yeah, I think this was a logical step to take as we're going through multiple changes on the code side. So the burst compiler, the job system, the ECS system, and their multiplayer system was not the best. That's for sure. Many people have acknowledged that, and they acknowledge it themselves. It was just a logical thing to do. And does it suck timing-wise? For me? For me, yes. For us as a whole. Yeah, no, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. In fact, starting next year, I wanted to work on my own multiplayer project. It's going to be something that I want to do, like actually create a game instead of making tutorial all the time. And I had in mind of creating the same kind of system as I've created with LLAPI, but to put it on ECS. And now, basically, this will do it for me. I don't have to do that. They will actually help me out quite a lot. So it's a win-win situation for all of us, basically. Except for the course. The course that I've made recently, is it still worth it? The ongoing course on the channel, is it still worth it? Well, personally, I think it is still worth it, and I'll tell you why. As they've mentioned themselves, where is it? Here, is there a migration path from the existing HLAPI and LLAPI and the new networking layer, network transport? The LLAPI functions similarly to the new transport layer, and the migration will be intuitive. So, what they're basically saying here, if I'm reading through the line, is that screwed people using the HLAPI, and luckily for us, we didn't go there. We didn't go there. We went to the LLAPI, and they said migration is going to be quite easy. So, do I think it's still worth it? Yeah, definitely. I think we took the right path. The whole point of making this course was to learn more about multiplayer, and that's exactly what we're doing, and that's still the good way to go. So instead of going with the HLAPI to learn high-level stuff that is going to get deprecated, we learn a lower level that's still getting deprecated, but what's being replaced with is very similar. So it seems to me, at least, that they're basically rewriting the exact same system as they had. However, they're stripping down everything that was related to HLAPI to make it more optimal, and they're also turning it into ACS code. So that's my guess. That's my guess, and I think it's a pretty educated guess, even though, yeah, I don't work there. I don't know like the insides of it. But it seems to me that if they want to make it fast, if they want to make it optimal, and remain easy for the LLAPI guys to stay a course and like to have a nice migration, they just have to strip down stuff. And to me, I think they just strip down the HLAPI, and they also strip down the P2P, so the peer-to-peer code, which we weren't using in my case, so I'm not being directly affected, but I know that many people that use it, if you scroll down here, you'll see many people that are actually not happy about this change simply because they think P2P was really useful to them. I'm happy. I'm not part of this group, so hey, let's go back up. So I will go through their blog post and we'll be reading in between the lines. Why is UNet being deprecated? So the current legacy multiplayer solution does not meet the need for many multiplayer game creator. Performance-wise, scale-wise, and all that kind of stuff, that's kind of true. People were kind to use Photon, they wanted to go for .io, socket.io, they want to go for something else than Unity, and many people have mentioned that to me personally when I said I wanted to take on UNet. While their system wasn't really good, was lacking documentation, in fact that's the reason I've made the tutorial in the first place, and their performance were not really good. Some people still enjoy to do pretty much everything in Unity, and that's my case, so I kind of went for that. And it's a very good change that they actually improving on the system. Maybe now it's going to be viable, and luckily for us, we are still relevant with the LLAPI. Now what is being deprecated? High-level API, low-level API, and also the P2P relay service and legacy matchmaker service. So, HLAPI, we saw that with the tank tutorial that Unity made. It's basically every network object add a component. This was on the engine level. It pollutes the engine. In my opinion, it pollutes the engine. Every time you go to add a component, you type in network, you'd see a list of things that I never use and that only HLAPI people use, and it's not really performant. Low-level API, that's us, right? So we're being replaced by network transport, which is going to be similar. The pay-to-pay relay service, I haven't used that. I can't give much feedback about this. I don't really have a good opinion on it. I've never used P2P. I just know that when I'm playing P2P games, such as the only game I play nowadays, Age of Empire, it's not fun. If there's over 3 person in the game, I am going to get disconnected or I am going to feel the lag. If you know what I'm talking about, fire emoji in the comment dumpster. Alright, and then the legacy matchmaker service. Never use that. I always prefer using our own matchmaking solution because we don't have to pay for it. We don't have to host it somewhere else. That's I'm not sad to lose this, but anyway, it's being replaced. So, what will the deprecated UNet feature be replaced with? HLAPI and LLAPI will be replaced with the new networking layer. That's totally fine. P2P relay server will be replaced by game server hosting service. That doesn't really equal at all. Like, you can't really replace that. That's just a new feature in my head. But yeah, and then the matchmaking service gets replaced by another matchmaking service. So they're just gonna say that they're updating this one. Right, so here, basically they're just saying that they're merging the two APIs together. It's gonna be harder for people that were using HLAPI and LLAPI. Well, that's you know, there's gonna be a couple of migration changes to do. Right, as far as the hosting and matchmaking service, I am not concerned. As I've mentioned, never really used them. P2P, I'm also not concerned. I know that some people are. If you actually, like, let me know about that. Like, I have no clue. I don't really read about people making P2P games. I read a little bit in the comment down here, and you're gonna see people have a lot to say about it. However, it's not something that currently affects me, and I don't know. Let me know, actually. I'd love to know. What is the deprecation plan for the UNet features? Cool graph. Will I still be able to use a high-level and low-level API? Yes, but they will no longer work with Unity after 2018.4. That's quite soon. Is there a migration path from the existing HLAPI and the LLAPI and the new networking layer? They mention us. They say it's going to be quite intuitive migration. And then they mention HLAPI, and it's going to be more specific game archetypes. I would assume like system that we're going to be seeing in the FPS example. So I don't know exactly. It's still going to be, I guess, kind of component based or packet based or package based, with the new engine going for more packages instead of what we had in the past. Will a self-service version of P2P relay server or matchmaker service be made available? We do not plan to do so at this time, so they're pretty much saying that they don't care about P2P people. But is it really not going to work though? Can't you just still create some kind of relay yourself? What should I use if I am making a multiplayer game today or have already shipped a multiplayer game? That's not one of a concern. We don't finish our projects here. So clearly, this is some good news overall. The tutorial is still relevant, and yeah, we're gonna have an easy switch. I am on the case of looking at the new network layer as we speak. I am still thinking if I should do the second part of the tutorial in LLAPI or should actually start implementing in their alpha stage. That I don't know too, so give me some feedback, give me some directions. I would very much like that. If I should actually spend more time on the LLAPI or should rewrite everything. and actually do that with a new networking system. However, that's definitely going to take a little more time, and I'm going to be late by 1 month or 2 months, depending on how long this takes. That being said, guys, the dog says hello, and I say goodbye.